Back at Daytona International Speedway, you're looking at our pole sitter, Curtis Roberts. Fight Week 2000 continues. This is the 600 Supersport Final. Keep your fingers crossed that everybody makes it through the first turn. So far, so good. Second wave is already now taking off. Curtis Roberts has the lead. Doug Chandler has moved into second place. We're at Daytona International Speedway where the action continues here. We're working the fourth lap of 18, and there's your race leader, Curtis Roberts, the son of the legend. Boy, he would love to take home a Daytona win, starting off the 2000 season in style. Chandler hasn't led a lap the entire race. All of a sudden, he whistles to the lead. He's going to try and steal this one. Can he get on to the high banks, get the lead big enough that the freight train behind him won't be able to catch up? Doug Chandler on his horse through NASCAR's turns 3 and 4. He won this race back in '98. Look out, coming up side by side. It's a drag race to the finish. Chandler is not going to be able to do it. Curtis Roberts has come back in front to get around Chandler. He's going to take the win. Duhamel's going to take second. Chandler looks like he gets third. So Curtis Roberts, what a comeback.
Up the inside now, Curtis Roberts is going to put the move. They almost collide. Bostrom up over the light. He's going to have to defend that inside line and get with it here. Yeah, this is amazing here. 3 guys to stay that close to that many riders. Shows you the talent and the skill level. Around the outside, Curtis has a notion, but he sets up wide. Nicky's way wide. Curtis is going to take the lead. Nicky got off into the slime line there and pushed the front end.
Yeah, big
Whoa,
mistake for
look at him
Nicky, and now
crisscross.
look at him trying to come back underneath. Yates looking up the inside. Roberts covers it magnificently. We'll have our first 2-time winner of this 2000 season unless Yates can pull off a miracle behind the lap rider. Here he comes up the inside. Roberts covered it beautifully. The lapper is there. Yates will come alongside. Roberts has to go wide. Roberts holds him up. Roberts is thrilled. That was exciting. Roberts has got a lot of catching up to do as Eric comes charging, but Roberts is on the move.
He's up to third place, Dave. He did it all out in turn 8 and 9. He's a maniac through those turns, and for him to pass the likes of Nicky Hayden, Doug Chandler, Aaron Yates all in there, this guy he's heading for the front, Dave, no doubt about it. But Eric Bostrom is determined to keep Curtis Roberts at bay.
To finish that story, when Curtis crashed in Colorado, it was like the Red Sea parting late in the race as those Arian and Bruce Hondas got out of the way and let him get back to 7. Here we go for the lead, 3 right up the straightaway. Hacking Roberts around his title line into second. Eric is third, Nicky is fourth. Roberts, second spot. Leading Eric, but trailing Hacking. In position for Roberts right now.
He showed Hacking a wheel in turn 3, so Jamie Hacking, he knows it's the number 80 bike, his friend Curtis Roberts, and he does let him through in 8. That was an intentional move. I can tell you for sure now he's going to follow Roberts. If he doesn't counter him, I'd say that Hacking is in Roberts' corner. Couldn't get a drive over the top of 6. Here comes the draft, and here comes Roberts. He's going for it. Oh, 3 wide through turn 8, 160 miles an hour. Roberts gets the lead.
Roberts does the impossible. He goes up the inside. He sandwiches past. The Yamaha takes the lead. Can Eric get back around Hacking? That's where the championship hangs in the balance now in this final run to the checkered flag. I don't think he's close enough. Here they come. He's got a strong run.
Roberts.
Awfully close to call. Roberts won the race. I don't think Eric got around Hacking, and I'm reasonably confident that Roberts has led the most laps.
Over the Honda. Right going to be under braking. Curtis Roberts got the bike sideways. Curtis Roberts beelining it to the finish. There's one more place on the racetrack where John Hopkins can dive underneath Curtis Roberts. It's at the bottom of this hill. And no, he stay behind him and drag race to the finish line. It's all Roberts. Oh, what a great race.
great ride for Curtis and this Aaron Racing crew. We talked about, will anybody be able to compete with him? It doesn't look that way.
A perfect record for the kid. Curtis Roberts garners 2 wins. He's the winner here at Road America. Josh Hayes will try to get his machine to the finish line for second place. Curtis Roberts looking back saying, man, I smoked him in that one. And this is the man we talked about earlier in the show, Curtis Roberts, just dominating the field here, opening up a 5.2-second gap before the halfway mark.
But he opened up that gap pretty early, Ski, and now he's just maintaining it. The final lap of the race, just get through this lap, Curtis, no problems. Looks like he's got the victory.
Oh, he's just feathering that 929 around. He's got a 6+ second margin. Actually, Zemke's reeled him in quite a bit. He's backed it way down. Listen to that motor, listen to everything, make sure every gear shift is perfect, well below the red line.
See there, the bike not moving around a little bit there under acceleration. That's just horsepower, about 175 horsepower. If you notice there in the front, the little slits, it's not on the stock 929. That's where they're working with getting that ram air, get more air into their box, get that fuel injection working better. As we're taking a look back here at Jake Zemke, too far behind Curtis really to have any impact.
Battle
close
third.
enough with that battle for third place.
Raging on between Hopkins and Hayes, and it looks like Hayes has got something for John Hopkins as Curtis Roberts drops 3.5 stories down through the corkscrew. All hooked up. This bike is just performing flawlessly here at Laguna Seca. He hasn't put a wheel wrong all day. Looking over for something that isn't there, Curtis. You have smoked everybody today.
Isn't that the greatest feeling, Ski? Last lap, you're looking around, nobody in sight.
Yeah,
great feeling.
I've had it done a few times in my career, not as many as you, Freddie, but let's see a big wheelie out of Curtis Roberts across the finish line here at Laguna Seca. The king, youngest son, puts another one in the record books.
Oh, he
Right
made
around.
made a pass under braking on the outside of John Hopkins, going down at the bottom of the back straightaway. Curtis Roberts not wasting any time to get that bike up front.
Youngest son of Kenny Roberts, Curtis Roberts, is going to bag another one in Formula Extreme. Nobody's going to touch this guy unless he makes an error. It's his championship to lose, but he's flawless here today at Mid-Ohio.
Well, good ride for him. Good ride for Josh Hayes. Hasn't made a mistake. Curtis has definitely slowed the pace down. It could be wetter than we realized. But what a good ride as he goes over the finish line and shows the power of those Arian Hondas. Oh, it's Curtis. You can see the smoke coming off that rear tire.
Again, a
just
double slide.
spinning that tire, trying to get the acceleration down and make that pass on Grant Lopez, and he does it just way on the outside under braking, carrying so much more speed in there, and using the lap rider to get in between him and Lopez to gain a little bit of an advantage. Watch the lights. Away we go. It's the Honda of Edwards who gets away to the best start. So too Carl Fogarty. Corson not the best start as they head down into this fast first right-hander, but then sweeps around. Troy Corson goes on the inside and follows Edwards through. Fogarty back there in third. It looked like Harachika Aoki up into fourth. The season opener for the 2000 World Superbike Championship. Colin Edwards has all the pressure on top of him now.
With only 3 corners remaining of this race, the only chance that Colin Edwards has is to get down the inside here now, and he's done it! He's through! Colin Edwards has gone through. There's nothing I don't think that Harger can do about that. They're side by side. Who's going to be the bravest in the chicane? And it's Colin Edwards is in the front against Harger. I don't honestly think can do anything. 1 corner remaining.
Carl Fogarty staying there. He looks for an inside run on Harger. What a ride by Edwards. Half a lap to go. Not even that. Made the move on Harger. Colin Edwards brings up the first win for the brand new Honda in the 2000 season in the best way possible. What a ride by the Texan. Colin Edwards' time yesterday for Superpole was simply awesome. Almost as fast as Okada's time last year for the 500. And Edwards gets away to a start, pulls right across the track in front of Frankie Keeley, and Akira Yanagawa gets away to a good start as well. But it's Colin Edwards and Frankie Keeley.
The manoeuvrability of the twin-cylinder Honda against the 4-cylinder Suzuki in second place is not allowing Keeley to get close enough to out-braking.
Look at this, Edwards sizing up Frankie Keely now. Frankie takes a tear-off off, and Edwards slips around the outside down into Fogarty's S's and takes back the lead. But Colin Edwards picks up his second win at Donington Park on the Works Honda. Great ride. Here comes the Tornado. Colin Edwards straight out of the draft and back into the lead.
And the Honda is normally the quickest bike. Number 7 there, Keely knows that. He gets in the slipstream, but he's also on the wide line into the chicane. Who is the bravest on the brakes? And it's Keely. No, it's not. It's Edwards. Edwards sticks the Honda in. Has he gone in too fast? Because if he has, he'll run wide. No, everything looks pretty smooth at the moment.
Colin Edwards said after the first race, well, okay, forget about it. I'm just going to go out there and win the second. He's got a very much an inside line. Now pulls out to the outside. This is heading up towards the Parabolica. You can pretty much say that Edwards has got it, but Frankie comes right up on him now. It's going to be a good run out of here. You would have to say it would be hard for Frankie to get it, but he's right on Colin Edwards in the draft. This is the run to the line. Colin Edwards, does he get the win at Monza? It looks that way. Frankie's out of the draft. Oh, it's close, but I don't think Frankie got there. Colin Edwards gets the win. Frankie shakes his head. How close was that? This is round 11 of the 2000 Championship. It's going to be very slippery. It looked like the two on either side of the front row got to start. It's Edwards, and on the inside, Haga. Keely as well. This is going to be very delicate stuff, but it's Noriyuki Haga. Bayless drifts wide. That'll set him up for an inside run. He gets a little squirmy under brakes on the inside of Edwards, but it's Haga, Bayless, Edwards, your top three. Colin Edwards, he said this weekend nothing else will suffice but 2 race wins. He said that at Brands Hatch too, but there were other factors that came into play. Things weren't really quite right with the bike that weekend, and he suffered some bad luck with that first corner crash in the original start. But the Texan, he's got the eyes on. He looks good at the moment. Has gone faster again, a 2:17.5. So he continues to crank up the Honda, and he's put 2 seconds on Borja in that last lap. 4.3 seconds the gap now. And the lead will extend to something like 34 World Championship points. So Colin Edwards came to Holland this weekend saying nothing else will suffice but 2 victories, and he is halfway there. He sets super pole. He's never even been on the podium before at Assen, let alone win. So Colin Edwards is going to strike a major blow to Noriyuki Haga and Troy Corser here at Assen. He cruises through, he crawls through the final chicane. The Texas Tornado has done it in the wet, and he's done it beautifully. Comes across the line on the back wheel, and that is a very significant victory. Debut race for Oschersleben in Germany, and Honda has put its stamp all over it.
Big step forward by Honda this weekend. We've seen an improvement in Slight's performance. Certainly Colin Edwards has dominated, and they've really made massive leaps forward with the chassis predominantly on that VTR 1000. And Colin is particularly happy now with the base setting that they've got for their bike, and I think he'll be a force to be reckoned with at Brands Hatch as he comes out of the S's and down to turn 8 for the final time.
We may know the outcome of Haga's hearing before Brands Hatch. I hope so, because this guy doesn't deserve to wait until after Brands Hatch to find out if he's won the World Championship. But nonetheless, what a perfect win. What a perfect way in Germany for Colin Edwards, the Texas Tornado. 3 from 3, Super Pole, race 1, race 2. All important to get the start here at Brands Hatch. Who is first into Druids? It's the newly crowned world champion.
It is. It's the world champion, Colin Edwards, on the big V-twin Honda. He leads on that first corner. Down there, John Reynolds also in there, second place. Neil Hodgson has gone off from pole position into 3rd place.
Francesco brought this new bike out at the beginning of the season at Kyalami in South Africa and won its first race. Colin Edwards has debuted a new set of leathers and will win its first race. Talking about the leathers, that is. On the run home out of Sterling's, this is it. He has won 6 races in the 2000 season. This will be number 7. What a day for Neil Tuxworth, the entire team, and the Texas Tornado is victorious. The final race of the year, the world champion does it in style. There is the entourage of Texans that have come over to see Colin in his final race of the year. He wins from Frankie Keely and Troy Corser in for 3rd.